everybody, welcome to Robert's train set. And I'm being filmed here, as you can see. I'm actually sitting on the floor on a cushion to get to the same level as my tabletop train set that you saw in the last episode, number 4. So in this episode, number 5, in a way it gets serious. I'm going to really get into iTRAINS, and at the end of this I would really love to have these two trains running under computer control, not banging into each other and doing what I've set them to do. I have great doubts about whether that will happen, to be frank, because I have, before I've started filming this, done a lot of testing, and I do have a few problems, and I will elaborate them in the due course of this video. So what you can see at the moment are my Ginty and my carriages, which is one train, but currently under just the control of the locomotive, along with my N7 and a mixed freight. And although this mixed freight is a train, in iTRAINS it's actually just a single locomotive, but again I am running it as a single locomotive, more to stop things happening automatically, really. So this is not a very big layout, and as you can see these two trains are running fairly well, although I suspect that the N7 might be catching the Ginty, but I'm not quite sure because looking from here I can't really see. Maybe not. And I wanted to just show you that I have got them running under manual control in iTRAINS. With a problem I encountered when I enlarged this the first time, and just the benefit maybe of going away from it. So there's a little bit of video on this that I shot at the time it happened. That was actually before I even started this episode. And it'll just show you how easy it is to just make a very simple mistake. And I noticed that the N7 again is coming closer to the Ginty. So I'm going to finish now and we'll get into the films. And there'll be quite a few separate films, which I've yet to shoot really. So let's see how we go. Alright everybody? Well, hello everybody. I actually filmed this bit before I even started this video, filming it. But I thought I'd bring it to you while it was still fresh and I had some evidence. When I did the measuring for this, is that this straight was longer than the one over the other side, the one with a point in. And the reason for that was I put a non-standard bit of rail in. So I decided to change this over to a standard one from the siding and put the bit that was a bit long into the siding, so actually saving a little bit on the end here, because I just wanted a bit longer to give a bit more room for the train to sit in it. So consequently these crocodile clips needed to come off. Now this one I did okay, but you spot the deliberate mistake, peoples. Got this one on the negative, not on the positive, which is why I'm getting the short. So I'm hoping that's all it is. I'm going to swap this over to the other side and we'll see whether it boots up. But just these simple things, isn't it? Not thinking. I did the track alterations this morning before breakfast, so it might be better to have breakfast and get dressed and then do them. But yeah, these things happen, don't they? They're going on a bit here, but I just thought, you know, it's just these simple things that can cause a real problem. Cheers. So as you can see everybody, I've got little Ginty running again. Now this is under the DigiCenter software. and it's going around at a nice slow 21 speed steps. And if I go in here, you can see that the sensors are now working very well. And you might notice number 17 lighting up. That's the point. I put that into the unit, so that shows that that point is sort of recognised. So it was interesting, wasn't it? You know, just a simple mistake at the beginning there, and then, you know, the little walk let me think what I'd done. And the minute I came back and looked, I knew what I'd done. But at the time, no, it just completely slipped my mind that I might have done that. So now what you can see is this is the screen from iTRAINS, and I've taken the layout from the side, on the right hand side where it normally is in the conventional one, to the long thin one at the top with the controllers at the bottom and the trains listed at the bottom. And you might notice something, there's no siding on this layout. So why is that? That is because I was having awful trouble with the point. I could not get a train to come automatically out that siding. No matter what I tried, it would not work. I've looked on the manual for iTRAINS and I might have come up with a slight solution, which I will try in this video. But it is quite frustrating to have a train, as we have, in the siding, and I can't use it because I can't get it out automatically from that siding. I could get it out now manually, but I think I'd be rather pushed to keep all the trains apart. So let's get on with the next bit, and first of all I think I'll just show you the layout that I've got right now. So as you can see, it's basically an oval with one siding, and really that's all I'm going to need. And you might notice that there's some spare track on there, a couple of double straights and a couple of single straights. This is to expand the layout later on. But I'm going to leave this layout together and just show you what I can get to run automatically, and then what causes problems. Although hopefully, because of a certain law that begins with an S, they might work perfectly, but I doubt it. They didn't before I started filming this. And at this end you can obviously see all my DigiKeys equipment flashing away, sensing all those sensors that I've installed in this layout. So keep watching, peoples, and see how we get on. So you've seen the sensors showing in the DigiKeys software, but now we're going to watch as it works in iTRAINS. And I've just run this train round manually, and you can see the sections lighting up or changing colour, as you can see here. So we'll go round once more. So right hand end, end nearest to us, left hand end, into the station, the first part of it, and then finally into the second part, and around we go again. So that's the visual representation. Now here we have the Ginty, but this is actually a local passenger train, and I'm going to get this to run automatically from the train station, or the front of it, and you can see it sitting there, and I'm going to move it over to the left hand end, and the minute I push root it should start automatically. Hopefully it will.
And there she goes. So I'm not doing anything here. I'm just filming the computer to show you as it goes. And you can see that it's set at whatever it's set at. I can't read it on my small bit of screen. And you can see it moving around the layout with different colours to designate what's going on. So there she goes. Now you might notice here, she slows right down. I'll show you why a bit later on. And she does go very, very slowly. And as she gets to the left-hand end, that will probably even slow down even more. As you can probably see in a moment. There we are. So it took so long to get round this bit, I've sort of shortened it a bit. But you can see how slow she's going by the speedo. So we'll do a little bit of jumping forward. And again. So here I'm just showing you why it went so slow when I get the right setting. There we are, the speed. And this is just in one section, so there are the speeds that I've set it, and I've done it so slow because it's such a small layout. And here's the next one. So you can see the speeds I've set. And the one where it goes really slow. The one to look at here is stop expected at 2.2 miles an hour. That's why it's going so slow. So just to show you what we've got on here, that's a sensor. So the black is the sensor. This white bit is actually a block, which you saw me click to get those settings. And you can also click the sensors. So I have a split here. The arrows just denote that it will go both ways if wanted. And there's a split here, a split there, and a split up here somewhere, probably the other side of that black, and then another one here. So the only place I've got two sensors in the station bit.
So everybody, I'm going to do that again, although I will finish the train in the station, not here, the one just behind it. But this time I won't show you the computer because we know what happens with that. I'll just follow this train round and just show you how abruptly it stops at the end of the journey, which it's not meant to do. So let's get this ready to go and we'll see how we get on. So as you can see, the jint is stopped just past this joint, and if I just slide her back slightly, you can see she just literally went over this gap with the insulated fish plate, and immediately she went into the next section or block, she stopped abruptly, as you saw. Now, as far as I understand, this shouldn't happen. iTRAINS should control the speed that the train comes up to the stop and do it accordingly. Now, it may be that I need even more cuts in the rail to facilitate this. But it could equally be that this locomotive is not set up ideally for operation on iTRAINS yet. It still would be workable on my Hornby layout. And this is in a few parts. The speed profile that I've got is a very simple one, sort of shown to us by Bob Fowler, but it's not ideal. You do need to make far more of a detailed speed graph on this. Also, when you do that, you also need to change some of the CVs in the decoder on this, so that iTRAINS does actually control the train, because at the moment that decoder is, to a certain extent, probably thwarting things, shall we say. So this is all, you know, in future episodes that hopefully I'll get sorted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get both trains running and we'll see what happens, shall we say. And we'll see how many collisions we get, albeit they're very gentle, but yes, they do collide. So let's see how we get on. So first of all, I'm just going to show you it on the iTRAINS desktop. And as you might notice now, we have some local passenger train from the last passage has left its names on. So we'll get rid of those, and you do that simply by holding shift down and clicking and clicking and clicking, and then we're back to the track. Now, as you can see, we've now got two bits of track occupied, the little bit with the Ginty on in the station, and in the left hand bend we now have a small goods with the N7. And although we've got the picture of the Ginty in his train, we have no pictures yet for the N7 and that train. And in fact, this train is only in iTRAINS as the locomotive. It doesn't know about the wagons behind. However, in the Ginty, it does know the length of the train, because I put the carriages in, again with no pictures, to do it. So you've seen it on the screen of the computer, but this is what it's actually like in real life. So we've got the Ginty with its two carriages, and we've got the N7 over on that far bend. So how do we do this? So technically you take our loco down from down here and we take it up like we did in the other demonstration, and we have that there. And then we take the blank picture of the N7 and place it in there. Now we're going into the actual block section, not into the actual detector part, which is obviously this red bit. So, and it's red because it's occupied. If you notice, the ones that aren't are black. So whether you can change the colours in this, I don't know. It's quite possible. Anyway, so what I'd like to happen is I'd like my local passenger train to go back to this bit there. So we'll put that there, and we'll push route rather. Shunt is when you go backwards, unless it's like the and then we'll take the freight and pop it in this one here and do the same. And I think what's going to happen is neither of them are going to move.
Oh, the N7 is slightly moving very slowly.
Well, as you can see, I've set those roots and the Ginty is just sitting there with its sound going. If I pan in a bit, the N7 is creeping forward ever so slowly, wanting to get into its next section or block. Now I think that what would happen is it would carry on doing this creeping and it would eventually impact with the back of the Ginty train. So this isn't working, so I'll see if I can get another scenario that does work, because I have had them working a bit. And now, as you can see, I've got a different setup here. I've got the Ginty in its same place in the station, but I've now moved the N7 back to the bend nearest to us, as you can see. And I've got this on the very tip of where it's going out of this block. Now, because iTRAINS does not know the length of that train, as soon as the length of the locomotive, which is I think 107 mil or something like that, the end block, the one it's on, should become free and the Ginty should be able to proceed. So we'll see what happens. Now, I'm not going to show you it all on the computer screen and go, because you know now what I do. I just transfer the pictures over and so forth and so forth. So I'll go and set it up and we'll see how we go. Now, I'm expecting the Ginty to stay where it is and the N7 to start moving. We'll see. I don't know. I've not tried this bit, so we'll see how we go. Right, well, as we saw, that didn't work at all well. So a lot of these might look in the same places within reason. The passenger train is now actually sitting on the curve nearest us, and as before, the N7 is up the curve the furthest away. So we'll see if we get a better result this time, shall we?
So I think we can agree that we're not doing very well here. So I've now made all these trains very short, and basically they're just the size of the locos, just to see if it gets any better. And I really am beginning to think that there are a lot of variables I need to sort out before this is going to work at all well. So let's see how we go. So as you can see, the N7 is going really slowly. Ah, we have movement from Ginty. That looks good. And it's travelling around. That's very good. Also, it's slowly. So you would hope now that the N7 would carry on to where I've sent it to, which I think is over on the bend nearest to us. I can't quite, oh there we are, we're going. Okay. So it should be alright on the first part of the station one. And I also would have thought it would have been alright on the second part. So now the jinty is slow because obviously the section in front of it is occupied. So one would expect the N7, and it is creeping forward very, very slowly, to carry on its journey to wherever I sent it. But in the end, the jinty comes and hits it up the backside. So, just going to do a bit to camera for you now.
Well, everybody, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this one here. It's gone on a bit. Before I do, I just, you tend to learn all the time, and I'm sitting here on the far side of the layout, which I'll show you in a minute I've made bigger, and I'm opposite, I'm quite away from the computer, but I found I can do this, so watch this. So am I doing that? No, I'm not clapping my hands. I found that if you set it on manual, you can use the mouse like I used to do on RAILMASTER and like I can on the DigiKeys unit. So that's good. When you put it to semi-auto or auto, then you can't do that. But then the computer's in control, isn't it? So that's quite a useful little thing, isn't it? I'm really pleased about that. So I've got the jinty running round, got no sound on, and I've increased the size of the layout. So I'll remove, I'll put the camera up on the tripod higher up, and we'll just have a quick look at that, and then we'll call this a day, because it's going to be a bit long. So when I'm showing you the layout, I'll just explain what's going to be in the next one. All right, everybody? So we'll just wait for the logo to come around, and I'll try and stop it in frame, shall we? And there we are, the power of the mouse. Magic. So this was where I was sitting. I've got a couple of cushions to raise me up a little bit, so that I can get the edge of the layout and my ugly mug in the shot. So it's alright, it's a bit of a up and down, isn't it? Good bit of exercise, I think. So let's have a quick look at this layout now. And we've got the jinty running round, and this is at 20 miles an hour according to Speedo. And it doesn't look too much different here, but if you notice, if I pan in a bit, we now have a straight between the two curves there, and obviously the same at the other end. And down here we now have a single straight, a double straight, and that's where I do the break in the rail. And then we have two single straights here, or it might even be a double straight. I think that's actually a double straight, yeah. But if you notice here, I've still got two single straights, but I can't use them. I've tried everything, but it just falls off the table. And because it's so near, I've actually put blue tack under places to hold it in place. Very thin so that you don't get a lump, but it's working quite well. So I just thought I'd show you this. Having made the layout bigger, I've yet to actually increase the size of the lengths that are on this setup on iTRAINS, so I must do that. Basically just add in the extra rails, and they'll be a little bit bigger, won't they? And the rounds will be, still be a curve in essence, but it will be longer. So just thought I'd show you that. So that's all to do as well. So you have to do quite a bit of stuff even when you just change your layout. That's notwithstanding having half the layout falling off the table as you're trying to do it. So just go back to me waffling away there, and this will be finished. So we'll see this more in the next episode of this, where I'm hoping to show getting the Ginty and maybe the N7 ready to run on this so that we don't have all these problems. And also, probably if I've got time, how to take the photograph, to get the photograph into the iTRAINS thing, as you saw with the Ginty. It's not as straightforward as just taking the photograph, but we'll see how we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little bit long, but I'm finding it very difficult getting shorter than this. And I felt it was worth showing what you need to do to get in your head what you're doing. And if you're thinking it looks a bit frustrating, you're not wrong. But it's all part of the learning process, isn't it? Just like doing the mouse, you know, amazing. So I'm just going to wait for the Ginty to come round, and I won't be slowing it down, but just the last shot. And you might be wondering what the next one will be. Well, I think it's just before Christmas, I think, on the Friday. I'll do a running session upstairs with the Hornby system. 2 reasons. A, I think I'd like to give my big locos a run, and I can't really do them on here with first radius curves. And secondly, I would like to set the CVs on the 2 locos I want to set up, and I'd rather do that on there than the one on iTRAINS. Looks very complicated on first looking, and I'd rather just do it simply upstairs because I know I can do it. So we'll do that. All right, everybody? So I hope you enjoy that, and I wish you a Merry Christmas then. Whether any of you watch it on Christmas Eve, I don't know. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. I know one that won't is Father Christmas. He'll be busy, won't he? Bye.